started making the embellishments for our journal. The first thing I want to make are some tabs, some page tabs. So I have some glue, I have a paper towel roll, or toilet paper roll will be fine. I have a piece of cardboard from just a Triscuit box. I've got the bag that some onions or potatoes came in, I'm not sure which. Some scissors, some ink, some white paint, and a book page. So I want to make some little textured page tabs. So the first thing I'm going to do is glue this to the paper and glue paper on both sides of the cardboard. And you'll need several pieces. I'm just doing one little sample. I've already got some made here, and I'll show them to you when we get done. But I do want to use a stiffer cardboard, or you could use cardstock even, but I don't want them to be just papery thin. So I'm going to glue that down to there and smooth that on. I had a little smoothing card, and I don't know exactly what has happened to it. It has somehow vanished on me. I'm not sure. So I lose it all the time because it's clear, and then I find it again, and then I lose it again, and it's like a game of hide and seek. But we're okay with that. Okay, and I think I want to use kind of both the little kind of tree images here. So I'll glue both of those on here. And cut away any excess. Not that that's going to matter because we're going to be cutting this anyway. But just for neatness purposes. Sorry, I'm a little fumbly. My hands, it took a while between videos, and I apologize for that, but I had to wait for my hands to kind of heal, and I'm still a little thumble fingers because they're still a little sore, so bear with me, please. Okay, once we've got that done, and you'll need, let's see, I'm going to do 7, maybe, you would maybe need to do, I would say do 5 of these for this size book, because you're going to cut them in half. So, or you can leave them in circles if you want to. So I'm going to take some white paint. Funny true story, I came out here a while ago to start this tutorial, and I thought I was putting hand lotion on because I was preoccupied, and I looked and I was rubbing white paint in. So I had to have a thorough hand washing. I'm going to dip the edges all around this circle. I want to really dip the edges and get white paint all in a ring around the bottom of here. And then I'm just going to stamp some paint circles on here. Like that. Oh, I didn't get that one all the way on the paper. I guess I should have looked. Yeah. Let me kind of move it, and then I'll move it back because I can't see if I'm going off the edge. Okay, that one I think got all the way on there. That one got all the way on there. Okay. And then I'm going to do that again. I'm going to attempt to do it again without going off the edges or crossing over into the other one. Okay. And you're going to let that dry. I am going to pause you and dry it with my heat tool. Okay, that is dry. I'm going to take my ink and this mesh, and I'm going to use this mesh like a stencil inside there, and kind of just where that interior of that circle is, I'm kind of just, and you could stencil your paper before, you could do it either way, but see how it gives a nice little waffle texture? I think that's really cute. And you could have stenciled the whole thing and then stamped. You can do it either way. I'm not sure why I chose to do it this way, but it probably would have been better to stencil first. So, but whatever, it doesn't really matter, okay? It really doesn't. But I just want to get a cool texture in there. So give that ink just a second to dry. And we're going to cut these out. While that's, I'm going to let that ink set while I can show you some of these. Grab this piece of cardboard and show you how some of these look once they're cut and inked around the edges. They're just going to be little page tabs. Now this one was one that I had grabbed a piece of paper that I had been testing some stitching on. So if you want to do that, that's fine. I was just trying to use up scraps for this, you know, from the things that we pulled in our kit. And you can cut these a couple different ways. Let's see, here's 3 different ones. If you want different shapes, you can cut them directly in half. You can cut them in half and kind of clip that top off, or you can cut the circle this way and across and make a different size tab. And what I did was, once this was dry, I kind of cut them out in as circular as you can. These are not perfect circles because your tube is not, you know, my tube was a little bent, so it's a little wonky. So mine won't be perfectly circular, but I'm going to cut out around the outside of that white paint. And since this is a really, you know, true junk journal, I'm not going to be picky about that if it's, you know, one way or the other. And I am going to flip them over. I think I'll stencil them first. I'm going to flip them over and do the same thing with the stencil and the paint on the back so that it's a double-sided tab. Or you could glue this to some, if you don't want this paper on the back, glue it to some of your image paper, which actually might be cute. Maybe I'll go back and do that. Ooh, we're getting a little sprig of sunshine. It has rained and rained and rained and rained here. Starting to get on my nerves just a little bit to not have any sun. I don't think we're actually going to have much sun today. It's pretty overcast. I think we're just going to get peaks of it here and there, but I'll take it. Okay, so once you've cut those out, you can, I think I will do one with the other paper to see how I like that. Let me grab my envelope that has some of the image paper in it, which I believe is this one, yes. Let's see, let me grab one of these little book pages. Okay, not a cockroach. Let's not put a cockroach on our book. I was looking for something cute. Oh, like those little bunnies. Let's save them from that owl. That would be cute on there, little bunnies. Or you could do maybe one side like this and one side, you know, with the little bunnies. So, what am I doing here? I have no idea. Stencil first. I'm sidetracking my own self. Stencil in there and get our stencil on there because I just like the texture. You don't have to do that, but I'm just trying to use all the trash pieces that I collected for this journal, so let me do that first. And one of these I may end up covering up, so I just want to try it both ways and see what I like the best. Or I may mix them. That would be cute too, to mix them. Then we'll go back into that paint. See if I can kind of fit this. My tube is a little wonky, so I'm going to kind of fit that down on there. I may have to move it a little bit to get some of the edges, but basically just plop it back down, and if you have to move it a little bit, you can move it around. That one's stuck to get a little bit of the circle. I didn't bring anything to wipe my hands on. Well, I have things, I just nothing at the table. About par for me. See if I can get any paint right there. I'm going to go back and dab that edge. There we go. And you could also use this just to stamp some circles on your page for interest. You could stamp and stencil. You could do that actually on your page. I'm going to pause you and blow those dry, and I'll be right back. Okay, all dry. We've got both sides stenciled and stamped. Well, if it said all dry, sort of all dry. That area I picked up there wasn't dry. So then you can just decide which way you want something to go. I think this one, because it's like a weird shape, I would cut it here. Then I'm going to ink the edges just a little. I don't want to really go over that white paint. I kind of like that kind of brighter white. You can ink over it if you want to. Doesn't matter. I just want to get those little edges. Let's see, this one. Cut right across there. And this one. I'm actually going to leave this one like it is. I think I might want to use this as an embellishment in the book with the tree. So I think I'll just work with these right here. And ink the edges just a little with my potting soil ink. Whoops. This one's got a weird shape too. And I'm going to see if I can shape it just a little bit more to make it semi-rounded. And I'm not worried if these are perfect little arches or whatever, you know, because this is with junk and we're not supposed to make it be perfect. Okay. Paper out of there. Now, you can leave these as they are to do tabs on your pages, or like I said, we might want to do one that's a little... you may want to cut out an image, like one of these little birds or something. You could just stick a bird on there. Or, right here, I'm trying to see how I can do those bunnies. I'm going to lose that bird, I think. If those bunnies are over to the edge, if I glue it about right there, it'll be okay. I'm not real fond of this side of the page, so I'm going to glue that down. And if I just put it there, it just gets his legs, but he's still a usable bird when I cut it. So you could do that. Like I said, you can leave them plain and just have them textured. One side textured, one side I'm just going to do them in a couple different ways just to see which one I end up liking the best. We could do that. Just a little ink to get that white edge off. Hey, where's my bone folder? It's not sticking down right there. See it lifting up. So you could have a little scene one, and you could just take your scissors and kind of trim that better. I'm not even going to worry about that. Or we could take a little bird. I'll do one of these little birds. Oh, do I want to mess up the owl on the back though? Let's see, he's a little large. I could use him, but he's large. I'm trying to see all these. I'm going to have to choose if I want the owl or this. So let me see if I have another little image. Just a quick one that doesn't have anything on the back. Yeah, this is a good one right here, I think. Oh, and I slid that down in there. Yeah, because I'm not interested in those, just those heads there. So we could do another bunny. Take just a little small image from this book and kind of fussy cut it and ink the edge and just glue it on. Now I have not added any fabric to this book. I've thought about it. I do have a piece of discard clothing that I could use, and I'm not even sure I'm going to. I'm just kind of playing this part by ear. I'm just going to do a few embellishments with you, and then we'll go from there. Let's see, let me pick one of these. I like that that looks like grass and a little hill. So I will glue the bunny on there. I'm going to kind of ink his little I do this because it gets rid of that white edge, not necessarily because, you know, oh, I'm stuck in there. But I like that this looks like, oops, he's a little hopper. Look at him, trying to get away from me. I like that that looks like a little hill. And he's just a little, like he's just right there at that little grassy knoll. And so you can do these any of the ways here that you want to. Leave them plain, completely covered, or whatever. And these can just be glued or stapled on the edge of your pages. So those are some tabs. So I'll set you off doing that, and I will set up for the next little embellishment. Okay. For this one, we're going to make a flip that can kind of obscure something else behind it in our journal. So I've got my bone folder, my scissors, my glue, my ink, white paint, the tea bag, the empty tea bag, and I've got, again, that netting or bubble wrap. You can use either one of these for the texture portion of this. And I'm taking the tea bag that has been emptied and dusted off, and I'm going to cut it in half to make a couple flips out of this. And I'll do one with each texture. And you can do some of the brown texture on here, but I don't think I want to. I think I'm going to do white. And I will do two different methods of doing this. I'll do one with the bubble wrap and one with this. And I forgot to get a foam brush. Hang on just a second. Okay, because I don't have any little makeup sponges out here, so I'll just use a foam brush. Okay, so one of them I'm going to put down, I'm just going to do this on the top portion. And I'm going to get some of that white paint that we just used, and kind of dryly, not real, you know, harsh. And I'm going to just kind of pounce lightly, brush lightly, sort of a random pattern. It'll be thicker in some areas and thinner in some, and I'm not really lift that off. And I've got just a light texture there, just enough. You can do it lightly like this, or, whoops, I've got one over here that I've already got that's dry, but I did it rather heavy. So either way is fine, you know, whichever way you want to do that. The other thing I might do is take some of the bubble wrap and paint on it. Not super thick, but just enough to make myself a stamp and press it down to get a texture in there. You could do this on your pages also to get texture. And I've got the little polka dotty, a light. Now I did real light on this one, and I kind of like the lighter texture, I think, more than I like this thicker, heavier one, but it's whichever you want to do. So we're going to get a little texture on there, and I'm just doing it at the top because I'm going to put something else on here. I'm going to pause you for 1 second and dry these to here because I think I'll work with those. And be right back. Okay. I probably should get a, let's see, I bet they'll show up on this. I've got this folder right here that's part of our supplies. They might show up a little better on there. There we go. I'll just work on that on the back of it. There's several different things you could do for this. One of the things you could do is our doodling method. When we did some of the doodles, you could simply do a little bit of doodling on this. So let me grab my pens. I've got my black Sharpie and my white gel pen, Jelly Roll. And I think I'll pick this one to do that on. And I'm just going to pick something that we did out of our doodle lesson. And you can draw on these tea bags. And I'm going to try to do this fairly quickly because we've already done a doodle lesson and we don't need another one, I don't think. And you can just do one of your little doodles on this. I tried to pick a fairly quick one, although the polka dots do take a while, I admit. I think I've got enough on there that you can kind of see it. I'll come back and do some more little doodling there later. Add some little grass. Now, on this area here, you could add, if you have some rubber stamps, if you want to do stamping or anything like that, you could add some little papers, like a, you know, almost like a collage, you know, kind of layer. You could layer things on here. You know, there's so many things you can do, but I think I'm going to leave this one kind of obscured because if I take, let's see, this is kind of a colorful page. I want to see whatever I'm going to put under there when I flip this up. So I think I'll probably, you know, focus whatever is on my page right there. So you can kind of, you know, you can get an idea of how much better you can see it once something's behind it. And I'll go back and do that, but I'm not going to continue. We've already had a doodle lesson, so let's don't continue with that. The other thing is you could do little collage on here. You could do a little bit of collage just with your various papers, and it's going to obscure. You're not going to be able to see as well through there. You could do one image, like you could just do a large image like the owl, or you may want something like that underneath that you're going to flip up and, you know, look at it. You could just do this and leave it alone. You could add some stitching on here, either by hand or by machine. I couldn't think of what I was trying to say. But let's figure out one that we can do almost like a little collage that'll kind of obscure what's behind there. I'm looking for, I had a piece of paper that had some leaves on it. There it is. Okay. I've got a piece of this book page that came out of my tree book. And I have, let's see, I want to find one of these pages that doesn't have anything like, trying to look and see what it says. It says stuff about mammals, and I'm okay with that. It doesn't have anything on the back that I'm going to lose as far as that. So I've got a piece of this paper. I've got a piece of my book page. I could use a piece of colored paper from this owl, or let's see what else I've got in here, my little images. I'm trying to find some color to stick in there. And I don't know if I want to use one of those things, but I'm just looking for a page. There's some of these that had sort of more scenery on them, that had some color in them. And I do believe that's in the other envelope. Or this is nice with the flying. Yeah, this is nice right here with the geese that are flying. I like that. Okay, so we'll take that one. And got a tea bag stuck on my elbow. I'll just tear this down and ink it a little bit. You can use a ruler or whatever. Get a clear spot to work. I swear I do that all the time. I'll start in one spot and then I just move myself into a little bitty corner. I spread everything out and I get in a smaller space. Okay, so we've got that, which I really like. We've got some words here. I'm just going to rip down a piece of this, rather random. Rip those ends off, and I'll ink that just for the words. And if you wanted to add some more texture on this, you could stencil on top of some of this with your, again, with your netting. This adds another whole texture. I think I'm inking my finger more than I'm inking the thing. That adds even another texture, and you're still using the same supplies, but you're giving them all a different look when you do that. So maybe I'll rip off the green, rip off that. I actually like this. I'm going to try to just do a little off the edge. I actually like it on the white, just to give me some, excuse me, some variety of papers. I hope I'm not getting the hiccups. I feel like I'm getting the hiccups. There may be a long pause in this video. Okay, so that gives me a few papers to do. And you could do images also if you want to. I think I'm going to restrict mine to this, and I want to do maybe some of these leaves. And I'm just going to fussy cut a few of those. I actually like these bigger ones, but I'm like, oh gosh, like they want to sit and watch me fussy cut. So I think I'll pause and cut a few of these out and come back. Okay, I've got a couple of these cut out. I'm pretty sure I'm going to use this more kind of leafy one, and I'm just going to kind of, I guess I'll just lay it down on my thing and kind of ink it because I don't want to tear it. Just kind of get rid of a little bit of that white look of the paper. There we go. I don't think I want to use these. I think I'll use that one. What else have we got in our pile that we could use? I don't even know if we need anything more than that. I just need to figure out how I want to arrange these. Like maybe I have a piece here and something here. Maybe I'll bring it down. It'll be more toward the bottom. I might want another tear of a, I might want that across the middle or coming out the side. I think I need some more paper or another piece of paper or two. Let's see what I've got. Or that's actually just fine to do it simple. Maybe I'll just leave it simple, and if I want to add something I can. I think I'll add some stitching maybe across the bottom. Let's just keep this one really simple and don't be so thinky about it. You know, they say that you're usually your first choice or your first thing like that is usually right, and that's usually true. You know, you start second guessing yourself and it just doesn't work out as well. If your glue doesn't want to stick, and I may have to get a thicker glue, because this actually, I think I better use some, since this is more of a fabric, I probably need to use some more like a fabric tack or something on this. I don't know how well that glue stick's going to stick down. So I'll grab some fabric tack or a thicker, you know, just a thicker glue. You don't want to put a whole lot though, because this is a tea bag, it will go through. And you might want to work on a piece of plastic wrap or a non-stick surface so it doesn't do that. I'll just crisscross this one across. And then I think I just want this coming out like this and just kind of have it over to one side. So, and there may be additions to this. This is just, I'm building a base here. And then as I go through the book, there could be something else that ends up on here. But I just want to get a few little, you know, starter embellishments. And then I can, you know, decide from there. Use this to kind of push that down so I get ink all over me. And maybe I'll end up adding some of the green paper. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll trim this down a little bit. I think I will trim that down. That's going to bug me. And there we have one flip. And like I said, you can add some stitching on here. You can add any other embellishments. And then this will be attached attach at the top of the page where it flips up and there'll be something underneath. And I even like that the back of it you can see the papers through. So that's one little flip idea. Two little flip ideas if you want to do some additional, you know, what did I say? Gee, Sandy, you're just with it today, aren't you? Doodling. And let's do maybe one more. Let me see what kind of idea I've got for this. Hang on, let me gather. Okay, for this one, I've taken some black thread that I've been using throughout this book for my sewing machine. I have a needle that I've already threaded and knotted, a little pair of thread scissors, my black Sharpie, my tea bag, and then I have an extra little piece of tea bag here. So I'm going to take this extra piece of tea bag and use that stencil again with the brown ink and stencil on this tea bag scrap a good little grid background to kind of help it stand out from the other tea bag. To give it a little bit, it's kind of hard to see because it's so faint, but it gives it a slight texture from that. And then I want to try, I'm going to tear off these ends here. I don't mind those sides being straight. I think I'll leave those straight. I'm going to try to ink down around these edges a little bit. I think my ink pad, I may have to get a new ink pad out. This one I think is just about to give up. I may need a clean ink pad. I hate to start a new one right now because they're so juicy when you start them. But we'll see if we can get through with this one. So I've got this. I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to draw something that resembles a little bit of a branch on this. Just kind of, you know, don't make it too crazy branchy. You know, don't make it too wild or too woolly. You know, you don't want it to be. I'm going to do just 5 little lines like that. Something that looks similar to a little bit of a branch. And I'm going to take a little bit of my glue on the back, just a dab, to hopefully hold these two tea bags together. I don't want to glue the whole thing down, I'm just putting a little on the tips. And I'm going to do this off to one side and stick it down to this tea bag where the two tea bags are together. I don't really want to pin it because if I pin it, it's going to leave holes in it. So I'm going to try to see if I can get it just to stick like that. Now if you wanted to, you could have put, where's that piece of paper? I just had it. Oh my goodness, I literally just had that piece of paper and now I can't find it. Isn't that the way? Well, it was the one that I had stenciled and I just don't even see it. Unless it fell off in the floor or something, which is totally possible. Anyway, you could stick something under that if you want to. I don't want to do that though. And I'm going to take my needle and thread and I'm going to stitch starting on the back side, coming up where the end of my line is for my tree. And I'm just going to do, you know, just a basic stitch and kind of sew along this branch to kind of outline it. Nothing fancy, just going in and out, you know, like a little running stitch. I'm not making sure that my stitches are perfect. In fact, I like it when it looks a little more rustic. And I'm just going, whoops, don't pull too tight or you'll pull your tea bag. You don't want to do that. And I'm going to go back down because I don't want to zigzag stitches across there. I'll follow myself back down a little bit to get to that branch. You can cut it off if you want to. I do not want to. I'll just make a little, sort of a little gap there. And see, I just followed that back down You can see on the back, I want it to be kind of a continuous, not super messy, unless you're going to back this. I'm not going to back it, so that's why I don't want it. If you're not going to back it, if you're backing it, sew away and just go crazy. So basically, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sew my little branch on here, and then I will come back. That one kind of went off my line a little bit. That's okay. And I will come back once I've got this stitched and show you the next step on this flip. Okay, I got my twig stitched on there, and what I did is I would go up this and then stitch close beside it, back down, up this, back down, up this, and I got a little wider because twigs are thinner at the bottom and they get thicker as they go up, and that way the back of it still looks neat. Unless you're going to back this, sew it however you want to, but it will show through if you're using dark thread. So, and I think I want to continue these bubbles on down here. So once I was started stitching, I thought, I really want to kind of put the bubbles around this piece of paper. So I'm going to do a little bit more of the bubble wrap. Kind of try to get it down. See if I can kind of line up those polka dots. They don't have to be perfect, but kind of line them up so I can get some polka dots all the way around here. Let's see, I probably need a little bit more paint right there to get down this edge and kind of let that be a feature. So, oh, that didn't dot very well. Let's try that again. A little more paint. There we go. Maybe dot there. Okay. I like that better. It kind of highlights that a little, you know. So, let's look at what we want to do next. I'm going to take some of my green paper that I chose as my complementary, my wrapping paper. And I'm going to glue it to a little bit of just this little scrap of text here. I love that that says leaves. I think I'll save that. I'm just going to glue this onto the back so that I have a piece of this green paper here. And I'm going to cut myself some little leaves to put on my twig. Oops. And I'm just going to ink that down just to dull it a little bit. It's not really going to show, but turn that over and let's see. I'm gonna just freehand. Oh, I thought I turned my phone off. Sorry about that. I'm just gonna freehand cut some little leaves. Out of my polka dot paper. I'm not worrying about if they're sized right or shaped or whatever. I just want 5 little leaves. I'm just trying to vary their size and shape a little bit. Okay, now I've got 5 little leaves. Push all that to the side. And I'm going to do a little tiny, just that little edge to get that white cut part of the paper off. Ugh. And I'm going to draw a little black line in the middle for their little, the look of their little, just a quick little kind of follow the curve of the leaf. Not really anything major, just a little line. And I'll probably use the Fabrifix. It used to be called Fabri-Tac, didn't it? Or am I crazy? Well, that's a total possibility. This stuff, I hate when it just spews. It does it all the time. And I'm just going to attach my little leaves onto here. I think I'll dot onto here instead of trying to put it on the back of that tiny leaf. Oops. Goodness. Trying to pick them up. That's a chore. And this is going to add a little color to my flip. A little texture, a little bit of color. And I probably want maybe another image down here, like a little bird or something. Let's see what we've got. I've got some on this page that could be, well, I like that robin. Let's do the robin. So I'm going to fussy cut the robin out and stick him down. Just ink around the edge and stick him on here. And you could go, you know, like if you're using any fabric, and I started to, and I just think I'm going to leave textiles. I'm going to try to do it without any textiles. If I need to go back and add, I can. I mean, I know that that enhances your design, but, you know, maybe not everybody has a, I mean, you know, most people have a piece of clothing or something they, you know, might be, you know, but I don't know. I'm just not wanting to do that in this. I'm just wanting to, actually, I'm just kind of wanting to finish this project up. It's taking me way longer than it should have to get this completed. Kind of ink on its little feet so I get that white edge off. And you could put some, I wish I could find that piece of paper I had a while ago. That is just driving me crazy that I can't, oh, there it is. This one here that I had inked. If you want to do a little piece of paper behind him to give him a, you know, a little more color, or you could just leave it at this. And I think I'm going to leave it at this, and then when I go back, I'll look for some words that maybe I can do a little text on there. So I'm going to put that piece of paper back there where I can find it. I'm going to glue him on. And like I said, I'll look through my pages as I, you know, text takes a while to look up, and I don't have any cut out of that book right now, so I'll do that in a little while. I'm trying to see where I want him. I think I want him placed more here, and then I'll add some text later. And that gives you sort of a little textural flip. And the reason why I added this second piece of tea bag, A, for interest, and B, this is so thin to sew on, you kind of need an extra layer of something. Now, you could have done that, you know, just a piece of paper like this behind it if you had wanted to, but it kind of needs something in order to really not tear the tea bag when you stitch it. So, and then when you flip it up, the back is just going to look like that. And I may add some leaves just cut out of text on the inside so that when you flip it up, you're getting the look of that. But I don't really even mind if it doesn't have that. So we've got our flips here. This one I'm going to go back and play with, and I'll come back and show you what I did, because I do want to flesh that out a little bit more. So I'll be back. Okay, I wanted to show you what I did on this one, and I'm not quite finished with it, but I thought I'd bring you back in. I ended up doing that piece of stencil paper across there, and I'll probably do something else on top of this, but I wanted to add this was not showing up very well, so what I did was went back over it with my thin pen, and then the dots were not showing, so I went back in with a thicker Sharpie to get more flecks and dots and things. Now I'm going to go back in with some white paint. I tried it with my paint pen right here, and it just is not showing up. So I'm going to go in with a paint pen, not a paint pen, a paint, period, paint. Let me get a little tiny brush. And I'm going to go back in with some of this white paint. Oops, let's see. Twirl it, get me a point going here. And I'm leaving it full strength. And I'm going to paint a stem with some little stems coming off of it, like this. I'm going to paint another one going this way, and I don't care if these are kind of thick because they're not showing up on this tea bag real well. So just however you paint them, if they're thick, if they're thin, whatever they are. A little stem coming out there, maybe one coming off this side, some for sure coming off this side. I'm going to take the opposite end of that brush and dot in some little dots on this plant here. Just to give it a little more interest, that they're more layers. And I'm going to let that, well, let's see, I think I'll do one more here. Something crossing out over here to kind of cross that. And I'll do another piece up out of the top. Where's my thing to wipe with? And I'll probably do just a little bit of this, like if it were coming out of here somewhere. Another little line across the top, maybe like that. Whoops, making a mess, aren't I? I think I need to eat. I think that's what's wrong. I'm getting the shakes. Now, we've got that. We'll let that dry, and then I'll add a little bit of more detail here in this corner. Hang on, let me dry this. Okay, I hope this isn't getting too long. I get started on these, and it's like the ideas just start rolling out of my head, and I'm like, oh, So I'm just going to put some little grass marks through here at the bottom. And I think I want to do almost like a little seed, like these are almost like little berries. Like a little berry dot, just a little off-centered dot, like these are like some sort of berries. And that stem is really, really kind of white there, so I'm going to take my pen, and this time I'm going to let it drag lightly, and I'm just going to kind of make little skip marks on there, so that you kind of get the idea that that's a, something that is off this plant, but I'm just making sort of little sketchy skip marks, so that we get the idea that it's off there. And that the berries are on there. Not any sort of special way, but just a little something to let you know that this is connected. And there. Oh, I forgot to do these, didn't I? And I'm kind of just, I'll show you up close in just a second. I'm kind of just hooking those berries on there. It's just a little sketchy, hopefully that's little sketchy berries. A little bit of the grass. And I thought about putting these other things in here, but I don't know if I want to do that. I might go back in with the leaves and kind of add the little veining. You can do as much or as little on these as you want to, just whatever looks good to you and your eye. I just feel like these need to be filled in a little bit more. To make it a little more visible. And you know, I was going to add something down here, but I don't think I will. I think that just fleshes it out a little bit more and fills it in. So I think I'll leave that one alone. And what I did think would be cute is I don't have it right now where I had a little page that had some little bugs. And I thought maybe I'll cut out a little bee or something and glue it up here like it's, or a butterfly. Like a butterfly or a bee. Let me see if I see one of those real quick. On one of these pages. I don't want to keep going back and forth, but I thought, well, I'll try to do, you know, a couple of different ideas on these so you can see a little variant and we still get some nice color for it. Oh, no, it needs this little tiny mouse. And I'm not going to fussy cut him because he is tiny. I'm just going to gently try to tear around him, and it even says mouse on there. I think that's kind of cute. I think I'll just tear around him and stick him on there. He's kind of cute because he's really tiny to cut, and I don't think I want to fussy cut the mouse. So I think I'll just glue him down here, and that kind of completes it for me. Okay. So we've seen 3 different flips in our tabs, and I'm sorry if this ran like crazy. I'll try to cut out as much as I can when I edit. And I will be back and we'll do some tags and a belly band. I'll put him right there. And I might just do a little grass behind him and over and around him so that we get a little, that, you know, like he's nestled there. There. I think that completes that one for me for my nature book. So thank you for joining me. I will see you in the next session. See you around the studio.